Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marketing with Perfect Blue Studio. My name is Lee Honish. I am the creative director. So, for the first part of this, we're going to just make it really simple and sort of straight out of the gate. Perfect Blue Studio is a marketing company that specializes in content. We take that content and then we ultimately market that content so that it generates leads for our client. Doesn't really matter the size of the client, big or small. Uh, the idea is to what we call the 5 C's, right? So the first thing we want to do is what we call characterize your niche, right? What does that really mean in English? That means that we look for the ideal demographic that is looking for your product or service. Simple. Once we've identified the complete demographic breakdown of your client, we then create content that will entertain that crowd. We'll either do what's called inside or outside advertising. Either the content itself will be the entertainment, right? Like a how-to. Ideally, if we're talking about, let's say, a gym, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, we'll show content in regards to Jiu-Jitsu, branded on the inside and the outside of the video, so that people will get your phone number, name, information, things like that. Or we will create completely niche-specific content. What does that really mean? All right, let's say that you have a product or service that we can't physically create entertaining content about, okay? So we'll just create content in general, put either the brand or the service inside the content, or I'm a brand spokesman for a real estate company. So, or we will do what we call generalized content, right? Like a show about real estate trends, which I do. You can check it out, perfectbluestudio.io. Click on the Everhome, click on our client link, and then click on the Everhome link, and you'll see the way that that works. And then we disperse, right? What we're really trying to do is communicate your message, either within the content or over the top of the content. Let's say you're a real estate agent and you're in California. Then you want to use video from local television that talks about the exodus that's actually occurring in Southern California. Then you can brand over the top with your phone number or your website. The idea is to get top of mind, really. With any product or service, it's always about top of mind. There are many people that will convince you otherwise, that a simple click ad will be sufficient. And as many of you know, trying to purchase those leads, they're not really sufficient. Generally speaking, my experience has been that when you buy these lead sources, people don't even know that they've actually filled them out half the time. So the next thing we want to do after communicating your message, right? So we've characterized, we've actually figured out your niche, the complete demographic, the complete breakdown of somebody who buys your product or uses your service or goes to your place or whatever it is. Then create unique content. And it doesn't really matter, big or small. We're able to create that content specifically for your niche's demographic. Then we're going to communicate your message on either the inside or the outside of that message. Then what we're going to do is capture the information, right? So there's 2 ways to do it. One is by branding the information, sending them to a website, or adding a link to the content we've created so that they can click into it, and that can go into a squeeze page. But ultimately, what we're looking for is to capture either direct leads or phone calls, or put them onto a squeeze page or onto your website where they can fill out a form to get free information, or if it's pizzas, to get free recipes, or to enter to win a free pizza every month for life, or whatever. You know, you have to expand your horizons on the topic when it comes to creating those things. But basically what we're doing is netting the information that comes across. Otherwise, it's a broadcast message. There's nothing wrong with a broadcast message, but when you're talking about a broadcast message, you're talking about a much longer play. You're talking about long, slow steady content like a podcast or videos on your website that are about your industry, product, or service. And what you're doing is building credibility over a long period of time. The quicker way to do it is to do the same thing, to put it directly in your niche's path by sharing it either on social media, which is our preferred method, directly into your ideal demographics through groups or pages, or directly to those individuals. There are definitely methods for those, right? Communicate your message. And then ultimately what you're looking for is somebody to take action, or what we call raise their hand. And that's the first step in a bigger funnel. So we have a company called Swan, I always say Swan Beauty out of Canada. It's beauty oil that's based in CBD. Very difficult to push the product because there is a ban on advertising CBD products, THC products in general. So Facebook's against it, Instagram's against it. So what we had to do was create an influencer who used, the long-term solution is going to be an influencer who will post constantly within the set demographics of what the oil is used for, either anti-aging or wrinkling, or we will get a younger influencer to constantly talk about acne, which the product helps with. We want to give the widest range of those things that we can. Then we share that content directly into the age demographics, and then put them onto a sales page or a squeeze page. Once we've determined the amount of traffic that's necessary and the type of content that people are interested in, then we can ramp it up, right? We can either create more content to increase the numbers to go back to sales, or we can ultimately, and this is a very rare case, order advertising through Google or Facebook or whatever. In the particular case of this one product, we're not able to do it because they're not allowed to have Facebook ads or Google ads. So what we will do is package the product inside of something else, probably a beauty podcast or beauty videos, something of that nature, where the product can get used and showcased and talked about, but be packaged safely some other way. So we've characterized, we've created, we communicated, we captured, and ultimately it's about close. This is where you come in. Our job is to brand you, to make your phone ring, to get you more leads, right? Our goal is to get you to be top of mind for a client. It's to get information about your company out there. It's to get traffic on your website. It's to get traffic on your social media. It's to bring you to the forefront and build one of three things so that your close is easier. Trust, credibility, and like, right? Trust and like are the difficult ones, in my opinion, to convey. You need to do certain types of content like podcasts and things of that nature to, over a long period of time, build up trust and likability between you and your audience, because that's what it comes down to. Whatever your product or service is, it's generally about building a tribe, right? Feeding the tribe content so that they take action and want to use your product. With all of that said, the way the videos are structured and generally by the way we frame things up, expertise is probably the easiest way of gaining new clients through video and audio or text or even images, because it's repetition, right? It takes 5 to 15 touches for a client of generally any product or service before they actually take action. Those are the basics of marketing, and they're the basics of web marketing. Now, there are many out there that will tell you you just need to buy Facebook ads and it's just volumes and volumes and clicks and clicks. Well, there's a couple of problems. When it comes to social media, the number one thing is it will cripple you from getting organic leads in the future. You will be punished by the powers that be in social media, the companies themselves, to the number of people you can expose your message to in the future organically as compared to paid. We, 99% of the time, do not use paid advertising whatsoever. I don't believe in it, don't like it. I've heard crazy numbers quoted for some of the companies I've worked with where they just want to buy, and this is an actual figure, $20,000 in Facebook advertising, or $20,000 in Instagram advertising, or YouTube advertising, or, whatever. And they're insane. Those are insane numbers. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for volume. I'm all for pressing the sale. There is a 1% time where I'm interested in it. But what's most important to me, especially with bigger ticket items like real estate services, or a company, a brokerage, I'm getting ready to do an insurance company. These things I want to build up brand credibility over a period of time through the employees, through the brokers themselves, and either do it through podcasting videos and long-term, build your audience, build lifetime fans, build an email list, feed the email list. It's kind of a simple thing. This isn't, it would be nice if we could get everybody to stand in front of us and show how the Ginsu works, right? And the best way to do that is by creating the content of, 100 ways to use a Ginsu. Number 3, right? Doing butterfly pineapples, right? Creating that video for over 3 minutes and 1 second, and then sharing it to an audience that would be interested in a Ginsu, right? Would be the best way to sell that product, and optimally has the most ability to be clicked on and to generate repetition. But what I generally say to most products and companies is look to get, 50 to 100 eyes on your product or service every single day. And if you're doing that consistently over the course of months and months and even years, you will build up a huge following within your community. Here's another tip. One of the things that I see all the time is people not taking advantage of the cities that they're located in. Demographically speaking, Facebook does allow you to join groups specific to areas. You can join them to specific criteria, right? Like homeowner groups or buy and sell groups for products and services, free advertisement. All of these things are available and will increase your organic search just by creating good content. The mistake everybody makes is swallowing a commercial and making it a straight up sales pitch for 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour of a podcast. And while that's great, I can document for you and show you physical numbers of, if you're doing a show like living in Oceanside, California, they would much rather know about the surfing and that you are a surf pro than you explaining that you're a surf pro and that the waves are good in Oceanside. Does that make sense? So put the content before the actual sales pitch. It's crucially important. The 5 C's are the way we operate our business, Perfect Blue Studio. So we're going to constantly do a podcast once a week for you guys. For those of you that are interested in learning the way we market, we call it content marketing. There is nothing sort of like that out there. There are people who do content. There are people who do marketing. Generally speaking, they don't seem to wear the same hats, or they refer you to somebody to do one or the other. Interestingly, they're both overpriced, in my opinion, because generally you can do most of this stuff for free on your own. And if you listen to these episodes, you'll be able to do some of the things that I'm talking about. So right now, if I were starting out and this was the first place I was starting on becoming a marketing expert, I would identify who my ideal niche is for my product or service. That's the first place I'd start. Okay. There's stuff before that I would tell you to do. Do you have any referrals or clients that you've worked with in the past? You can get an email platform like Sendinblue or, any of those. There's millions of them out there. To set up an email campaign, relatively inexpensive. Sendinblue is free for 300 emails, which is great. You can also use their paid services like Constant Contact, where you can, you have a higher, greater delivery rate. I've used all these things in the past, and I don't have much of a problem. The problem is, for most people, they see it as an opportunity to sell. They see it as an opportunity to push instead of dispersing content. I have a coaching group that I've worked with for a long time in real estate, and that's how I basically got into marketing everything and creating content for everything here in the studio. So I don't try to do sales pitches to them directly. I send them either links to live events so they can watch, talk, ask questions, or I do follow up so that they can see the past coaching call and whatever. If they want to hire me for additional services, that's simply their choice. But ultimately, it's to foster a relationship with my existing clients and keeping my referral base alive. Simple as that. That's all I'm doing. The best business you will get is based on referrals, and it's by having a good email list and doing that, right? When you're talking about the next, which is most important, your cold marketing or your cold start marketing, it's COVID, so there's not very far. Normally, I would have a direct marketing method that we could discuss at this moment that would start to generate new leads. But since that's not really a thing, you have to go straight to the web. And shockingly, most businesses and services don't have Yelp, don't have Facebook, don't have Instagram, don't have YouTube. You know, the don't have a website. Or if they buy a website, they buy a ridiculous website because they think it's the website that somehow magically generates traffic to the website. Website's a couple of $100. My websites, when you visit them, perfectbluestudio.io, honish.io, or any of the show pages that we build, they're all built the same way. They're built as very simple frames that can be blogged on and content added to with contact information. They're easily indexed to Google. I believe in a .io platform, generally over a .com platform, unless my client specifically suggests that I use a .com platform, which happens. Generally, I like a .io platform. I generally, when it comes with business names, websites, things of that nature, I like to keep it as simple as possible. So if we're talking the city I used to live in, Oceanside, it would be Oceanside Pizza, Oceanside CrossFit, Oceanside Sewing. It doesn't matter. Like, that's the way people are going to Google for your business. So if you're going to create your business from the ground up, that's what you want your web name to be. That's what you want on Yelp. I'll end today's episode with a story of a friend of mine who sold mattresses, who came to me after he had already opened the store to help him with marketing. Generally, I don't like to help friends with marketing. I don't like to help anybody that's connected to me close with their marketing because, generally speaking, I want to do marketing for them that will be successful, not what they think is the right idea. I've just been doing it longer, but they have a vision of how they want their message to be put out. This is very common to me. I've had a lot of people get upset with me because they've got their own vision of how marketing should be. You came to me. This is direct. This will hit your niche. That's what I do. It's been tested. I've been doing it for 11 years now. There is nothing quite like what I do in the market. In fact, it's so successful that I've just hired a couple of people to bring in more. We'll start having out staffing. Probably the days of the studio that we're currently in here in San Diego will come to a quick end sooner than later, and probably have to get a bigger studio with different areas that we can shoot more and additional content. Probably a full-blown studio that's partitioned off, because that's the direction we're going. We're going into a full media platform. Media wins. If you don't believe me, Facebook is a media platform that's advertising to you. Simple as that. YouTube is a media platform that is advertising to you. It is your choice if you want to advertise within their platform. And there are ways to do it that they don't have a problem with it. So I'll end with this story on the importance of keeping it simple when starting off in marketing for your company. So I had a friend who opened a mattress store in Pasadena. He had already been open for about a month when he contacted me and asked me to help him with the marketing of his brand new store To which I said, great, I'm happy to help you. You're a lifetime friend. Least I can do. Cool. I said, are you on Yelp? Are you on, all the really basics, Google Places? Do you have a website? Do you have all those things? No, but we're thinking of doing them. I said, that's fine. Okay. Let me do a little quick research. And that's really what's important here. Do a little research. Go on Yelp, go on Google. I said, you're in luck. Pasadena mattress is available. Simple as that. I checked it for Google word search. I did all the back end on it. That's the way people search for mattresses in Pasadena. Simple, right? To which I was told, no. They had come up with a name like Area Dream, Bamboo, Eco, or Airy Dreamland Eco Mattress or something. I'm exaggerating, but it was something equally as crazy as that. And I said, nobody's going to search for that name. Nobody's going to remember that name. There's no way to create content that is germane or that will generate good foot traffic for you in Pasadena. Pasadena mattress is available. We can do some very simple website things and make it, within a couple of months, you'll be on page one when somebody puts the word Pasadena mattress in. It'll be on Yelp. It'll be, it'll be in all the places. No, we want the actual name that my wife came up with. I said, well, then I don't know how I'm going to help you. I'll come up there. I'll show you a way to sell some mattresses out the back door, perhaps by selling directly into maybe some Facebook groups or maybe Craigslist or whatever. I go up there. There's no parking. The sign that he had to have with the name of the company was behind a tree on Colorado Boulevard that you could not see. And there were only two parking spots behind the building, which isn't actually say anything out on the front of the building of where to go in the back of the building to park. And there's generally no parking on Colorado Boulevard if you know anything about Pasadena, California. So I went in and I don't know what to tell you. And he got mad at me because I told him the truth. You are set up to fail. Everything about this is set up to fail. I consult a lot. I consult with lots of companies. I have burned myself out of doing marketing for companies when I walk in and I point out the systemic flaws within the way the company's structured or the leads are coming in or things that are broken. I find them usually immediately. I've been around successful companies my entire life. I've been in and around big companies and small companies for a very, very long time. But psychologically speaking, when I meet with a client, I'm more consumed with telling them the truth than I am with making a dollar. And if there's something that jumps out at me that I know isn't going to work, then it's usually a problem for me. What do I mean by that? One other quick side story. I was invited out to Burbank to a media channel. It would operate much like Netflix or one of those channels. And they invited me to build a channel for this platform. And they asked me what I thought they should do. And I came up with these ideas. And I said, what is your way of targeting traffic onto your, streaming service? And this is the honest to God truth, what the guy told me. We have K-pop. I said, you have a Korean pop band or one of those. They were hot a few years ago. I said, you have a entity that you're going to work with and you believe that that's going. I said, so your target niche is what, 13-year-olds or 12-year-olds or whatever it is? No, but it'll drive a lot of traffic. As you've seen as of late, and I explained the flaw in that and the direction they should go with the content that they create, which caused them to retool and ultimately shut down and go out of business. Wasn't my doing. It was just a flawed plan from the beginning, and I pointed it out much earlier than later. As you can see from a lot of the streaming services that come out, they think they have a good idea, and they believe that it's going to capture an audience, and they have millions of dollars in backing, and they, you would not believe the amount of money that is in streaming services. They dump money into it and think that just by generating traffic or getting influencers that it will ultimately equate to subscriptions or people signing up. And that's not necessarily the case. They're forgetting the biggest key, which is good content, entertaining content, even with advertising built into the engaging, entertaining content, will always win. People will watch ads if they're entertaining. People will allow you, give you permission to tell them about your product or service if they're looking for that, and it should be engaging, and it should show off your expertise. People will listen to a podcast about marketing, and then when the time comes, much like you listening to this right now, and you're thinking that you need help with marketing, you can give us a call. And here's an opportunity for me to tell you at the end of this. One, go to perfectbluestudio.io. It sounds exactly like it means, perfectbluestudio.io. Number two, let's do a free one-on-one, you and I. I would love to hear about your business and your ideas, or give you some ideas. This is basically a $300 value. I consult. I meet with people for an hour. I will give you an hour of my time. I want to hear about your product. I want to hear about your service and what your plans are for marketing it. So just send me a text at 858-663-2537. If you're watching the video, I'm sure it's branded at the top. My website is probably branded at the bottom and burned onto the video. It's not just a clickable link. Insider tip. I market the same way for myself that I do for my clients. And if 100 or 200 people are looking at my videos to stop and watch them on a daily basis, then I am being successful, because ultimately that will equate to people who want to hire me in the future. So remember, it doesn't matter how big or how small your service is. You can always do with more traffic, more leads, more calls, more everything, right? But it is by creating good content and getting people to engage with that content. I will be back next week, and we'll talk about demographics and niches. I'm going to go through each of the C's slowly and teach you what I know about marketing, because I've been doing it for a while. I've created unique marketing. I've been named one of the most innovative marketers in America. So I look forward to seeing you all again on video, or you can sign up and listen to the podcast. Thanks.